Begin from last time, we see Henry basically investigating this boy that his mom was talking about, and it was pretty funny because he basically scared him off and he basically calls his mom afterwards. Then we see Olivia just studying at home. Afterwards, we see Henry at the front of the college entrance exams praying that his mom does well, along with the other people there praying that their relative does well. Then it goes back to their homes where we see Henry is looking at his mom's exam, and then he says, Mom, basically that you got a really good score here, and it was basically better than your last mock exam, and you can go to any school you want. Then she said, I'm gonna basically go to your school. And he said, you can't go to my school, that's where losers goes anyways when I go to that school. And the reason why she wants to go is because she wants to hold his hand. Also, she doesn't want him paying for a lot of money for expensive college. Then basically afterwards, they head over to a shopping mall to get his mom some new clothes. And as they're talking and looking at the price tags, she says too expensive, but he said it doesn't matter. I'll pay for it. Then an employee walked over and overhears what they are saying. Both Henry and Olivia realize that they have to say that they're brother and sister to stop getting weird looks from the employees. Then they walk home. Olivia basically saying, I'm going to learn some new words to keep up with the kids. And Henry says, you can't just put freaking every word and expect to sound cool. Then the next day, she goes to school looking for directions for the orientation. Then she walks up to some random guy about to ask him for direction. Then she gets mad when he grabs her phone and signs it when she did not ask for that. Then she basically walks off in the other direction, leaving him confused. As Olivia goes to orientation, she meets a girl named Sally. Then she sees a guy who scribbled in the back of her phone case. Then Sally says that's German Wu, and he is a famous person. Then she goes home and tells Henry. Then he just laughing on the floor like, you yelled at Jeremy Wu? As the panel goes outside the apartment, we see Jeremy talking to his manager saying you need to be living here in secret so people don't know. And as he exits the car, we see Olivia coming down with his garbage bag, but Olivia doesn't know it's him and proceeds to throw it at him and saying, go away, you creep. And Jeremy says, you need to calm down, that's not what's going on here. Then Jeremy grabs her, then Harry comes out the cut, jump kicking him. It's like, who are you? Then he says, I'm Jeremy Wu. It's like, why would Jeremy Wu be here? His manager comes out, it's like, Jeremy, what's happening? Then his manager explaining to him back inside the apartment that Jeremy's gonna be living next door. I need you guys to be quiet. And Henry was like, I understand everyone has their secrets to keep. And Olivia is trying to make him give the money back. And Henry says, we have bills to pay. Money doesn't grow on trees. Then the panel goes to the middle of night where we see Henry looking in a locked drawer at his health insurance because we know he's gonna die one day by accident because of the lifespan dealer. Then the next day in her first class, we see the girl that she runs in, name is Sally. And she basically found out she had the highest score in the department and her mom wanted to be friends with her. And so that's what she's doing. Then Sally asks her if she's going to any parties. Then Olivia says, of course she is. Then Henry calls her. Then Olivia actually says, my son. Then says, my friend, son Kim. Then the call happens, XYZ. Then the panel later moves on to the waking up party where a senior classmate is saying there's a rule where no freshman leaves here sober. Then Henry appears and says, can I talk to you outside? Then he goes out and have a chat, basically saying, hey, there's someone here I know. Can you make sure she gets home safe and that she doesn't drink so much? And as they're talking, they run into Olivia and her friend Sally. And he asks, hey, is that the cousin you're talking about? Henry says yes. Then it goes back to a party where everyone's just introducing herself. Then Olivia introduction becomes a speech. Everyone's saying, wow, you're so wholesome. Then it changes to Sally and Olivia in the bathroom. Olivia is reminiscing about the trouble Henry and his friend got together in seniors. Then back to senior party. A freshman takes a drink that he couldn't handle and threw it back up. Then Olivia walks in and says, if he can't drink, he can't drink. Then the senior was about to let you off that this time, and she says, you think you're being mature? Then senior stands up and repeats, say that again, bitch. Then Kinsung says, everyone needs to calm down. Then the senior starts to break Kinsung. Then he starts to pour a drink for him. And Kinsung, instead of drink up, then Olivia walks over him and challenges him to a drinking game. Then it pans off to why Henry was explaining why Olivia can't drink because she actually becomes very scary when she drinks, to where she starts saying that this is weak, I need something stronger, this is basically water. Then she calls over Kinsung, tells him to give that guy a mission, not for him to act like that again. Then it pans off to Jeremy in his apartment just watching commercials, in his own bedroom being bored. Then he hears a knock on the door and goes over. Then it sees that as Olivia. Then he says, Olivia, I believe you're in the wrong place. But Olivia doesn't know that, and she thinks it's Henry. Says, Henry, let me in. Then she barges in, then runs to the bathroom. Then Jeremy's like, this is the wrong place. And she says, oh, really? Then she passed it on the floor. Then Jeremy's like, I had to move back to the apartment. And as he's doing that, we see that Henry's trying to call his mom, but she's not picking up. And as Henry's walking upstairs, he sees Jeremy picking up Olivia, trying to get her back into her apartment, but Henry doesn't know that, and says, you son of a bitch. And this is where we leave off. We will continue this next time. Signing out.